Good morning, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, May 12th. Big day in sports. A lot to talk about. We're going to cover it all. We got head coach from the WVU Mountaineers, Neal Brown, joining us in the second hour to talk about how he's handling the quarantine. We're getting a lot of college football coaches coming through, by the way. You know why? Because I think they get it. Come on the show, you get clips to tweet about, and if it makes your coach look good, now we're recruiting. What are we doing when we're recruiting? We're getting better. When we're getting better, what are we doing? We're making more money for our university and helping the student human athletes achieve their ultimate goal, which is what Neal Brown's trying to do at West Virginia University in my old stomping grounds of Morgantown, West Virginia. Also joining us, Darren Woodson, former safety for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor member, used to bring the wood whenever he hit a some bitch. That was back when football was football, too.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
That was back when you come in with the lunch pail, huh? And you say, I'm going to work today.
Football. You just got jacked up.
Yeah, you did. Can't run that anymore because it's all fines.
Hard hat.
Because Will Smith was a doctor who went in there, found CTE.
Tell the truth.
Whole different football game, made it safer for the players. You shouldn't be upset about that, Diggs. You're a despicable person if you think that's bad that has happened.
I'm a doctor now.
You're not even allowed to say that. You're not even allowed to act like you're not happy for the health and safety of the players. You're not allowed to do that because right now the MLB's got a big situation going on. The 50-50 split, revenue split from the owners has been proposed to the players for this 2020 shortened season. And the big question from the MLB Players Association is this the MLB attempting to put a salary cap into baseball? Everybody knows that baseball is not a salary cap sport. Everybody knows you can spend however much money you want to spend on a player, but they've been trying to institute a salary cap for so long is what the MLBPA president, Tony
King?
Nope, that's not right.
Tony
Clark.
Tony
Clark.
something. Tony Clark said that they've been trying to institute a salary cap for years, and we ain't going to let it happen. They're not going to use a worldwide pandemic to sneak in the back door and put a salary cap on us. Well, what if it's only for the 2020 season? That's probably what they're trying to pitch, and I would assume the players don't trust them. But anytime you do a revenue split with somebody, you're banking on them being very transparent with their numbers, okay? We've done revenue splits with numerous companies now at this point, and you are 100% trusting that their numbers are going to be completely exposed and transparent to you. Now, granted, I'm not saying the MLB would have anything to hide, but that is quite a process of getting numbers from people, especially when it's financial numbers. And I'm not saying that the MLB won't be able to do that or won't want to do it, but when you're a player, having the faith and trust that, okay, all these people are telling the truth in the amount of money we're making is a big deal. So you can see why the players would have questions in this entire thing. But I think as a fan of baseball, which I am not, but if you were a fan of baseball, that'd be something like, hey, let's try to figure out how we can get back into this thing, because the MLB was the first real league to come out and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Second training camp. They try to keep their name kind of relevant to this entire thing because their season's taking a massive hit right now. And remember, the last thing that was talked about for them was the Houston Astros banging garbage cans and using robotic devices to steal signs and winning World Series. So now they're trying to stay relevant, get back in the thing, but the players are like, wait a minute, there's a pandemic happening. You're not going to sneak in the back door a little something you've been trying to get done for a long time. Now there's going to be a debate. The owners are going to pitch a proposal. The players are going to be mad about it. Just never going to work. Can't wait to see how this all plays out.
I mean, we're not playing for the fans. Are we not playing for the fans here?
See, that's a great pander there. That's a great grandstand. That is a great grandstand. And I understand that is a thought. Like, we do it for the fans, you know? A.Q. Shipley just said the other day on That's Hockey Talk that he goes out there on Sundays for the fans. That's what A.Q. Shipley said. So I asked him immediately after you guys recorded that show, oh, so you do it for free then? There's fans? You're not taking any money? Do it for the fans and for the money. There's so much to get figured out. There's millions and millions of dollars on the line. And speaking of, none of those are being used. So we have really nothing to talk about today, but we will dive deep into things that are happening and break it all down for you. All the boys are here. At Nick Moraldo's here. Tone Diggs is here. Ty Schmidt is here. Didn't sleep at all last night because his dog was pooping and puking all over the apartment.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that I'm going to go home and he is going to be just like in a pool of his own vomit, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I was sold a false bill of goods when I first got him, to be honest. I love the guy, but they did not do their due diligence on his medical record before I got him.
For those that don't know, Ty adopted Murph.
I did.
Saved Murph's life and was told that Murph is this pristine dog, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's got kennel cough. That's it. Don't worry about it. I mean, again, I love the guy. I'd do it no matter what, but I've sank about $7,200 into him already.
And Murph, by the way, good-looking dog. Great dog. You saved his life. You did the right thing. Were you lied to? Yes. Have you saved a dog's life, though? Yes.
I just want him to be healthy.
Yep.
Just want him to be healthy.
That's all. Don't be puking and pooping all over the house. Not because of the house, but because we're worried about you not enjoying your life.
Exactly.
Ty, good dad. Dad of the year. Jason McAfee's here. At Viva Lazito's here. How you doing, bub? Are those,
amazing.
Are those pineapples on your shirt?
Put the lime in the Coke, you nut.
Nope.
Is that wrong?
Yeah. Oh,
Put
yeah.
the salt in the Coke, you nut.
No, you put the lime in the coconut.
Oh. No, that was a Coca-Cola commercial.
No, it's a coconut. You put the lime, and I believe it's also a metaphor for rolling a blunt.
Really?
I think so. And then you twist it all up. I believe.
Lime.
Yeah,
That's why you
it's
don't
green.
remember.
You get the lime and the coconut, and yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I think.
That's
Could be
pretty-
wrong. Could be
You
wrong.
learn something new every day.
Well, I could be completely wrong too, by the way. Just want to let you know. And that song could have been on while doing said activity.
This
Be
makes
like,
sense.
wait, are you really? Is this person singing to me? At Evan Foxy's here looking very handsome. The Detroit Lions, I believe, after talking to Matt Prater, have a real chance of being good next year.
Yeah, Pat. I mean, Orlovsky actually tweeted out Stafford's numbers before he got injured last year. It made me feel good, and then Prater made me feel good. But then once you get to the first game of the season, a lot of things change.
Well, also, I mean, another Stafford number was tweeted out this morning by our guy Hembo from Get Up, and his salary from 2014 to 2019 is the highest amongst all active players. But there's a lot of players in there that have made a lot of money from their teams.
I mean, those are all elite quarterbacks. Stafford is also one of them. And to say that it was his fault that we haven't won a lot is an absolute lie.
Well, it was a number. Do you have the number, Zito? Do you have this thing pulled up?
have it somewhere.
And by the way, also here, 1-833-622-3331, answering the phones, looking maybe the most ridiculous I've ever seen a human look, Boston Connor.
Hello.
What are you?
I'm an old woman. Of course.
What's that quote right back there, old lady?
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb?
Huh?
It's like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that's a babushka you got on there. Huh?
Babushka, yes, you got it.
When did you think of this one? This morning?
Oh, yes.
It's a little tight on the chin.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, all right. Diggs just called him a little bit overweight, but that's a rude of you. He's been on keto, and the mustache looks incredible too. He got a clean shave on that thing.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, okay. Do you have that number up?
Yeah, pulling it up.
Okay, here we go. So this was tweeted out by Hembo, who is the stats guy for the show Get Up. He is the best stats human. He's a wizard whenever looking up stats. Paul Hembo says highest cap hits from 2014 to 2019. Stafford 130 million. Roethlisberger 128 million. Aaron Rodgers 126. Drew Brees 125. Eli 124. Matt Ryan 118. Phillip Rivers 117. Joe Flacco 106. Cam Newton 104. None won the Super Bowl during that time. I believe what Hembo was digging up this stat for was for Stephen Jones' comment about Dak Prescott. Yeah, the other day on PFTPM with Mike Florio, where he said there are analytics and stats that basically say whenever your quarterback gets a certain percentage of the salary cap, you are not going to win. This stat has stated that these quarterbacks have been paid an astronomical amount of cash since 2014 and have not been on the winning side of things. Drew Brees has been very close. Aaron Rodgers has been very, very, very close. Cam Newton, incredibly close. I believe Matthew Stafford has obviously been just about 8 to 9 games away every single time. Matt Ryan has obviously won a Super Bowl in this time period and then immediately lost the same Super Bowl. So I think although the stats do say that these people have not won a Super Bowl, I think, by the way, pretty little. This is pretty good. This is pretty. You see this number up here. This.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
There we go. Figure out how.
Oh, I like that.
I'm like a weather person on a green screen, though. You got to work opposite. But I think this stat can be a little bit misleading. Okay, because there's 5 quarterbacks on there who have been very, very close. Aaron Rodgers potentially in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's going to win against the Chiefs because I don't think anybody was going to beat the Chiefs last year. But was it Aaron Rodgers' fault that they gave up 186 yards before contact? They would say maybe because they haven't been able to pay somebody to do that. So maybe, I guess maybe you could say that. But a lot of these quarterbacks have been awfully close. But I think this was in an attempt to kind of support the theory that Stephen Jones had about not paying Dak Prescott.
Well, and like you mentioned, doesn't this always come back to whether or not you view that the guy can win a game by himself? Because if he can, you have to keep him. And if he can't, he's going to go somewhere else. Or,
Listen, it's Tuesday, May 12th, okay? in the middle of a quarantine, there's nothing to talk about. So I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this for years, okay? Long time I've been saying this. Is the new blueprint in the NFL not paying your quarterback so you can pay everybody around him? If you think your quarterback can win all by themselves, you can pay him. You should pay him. But if he's not going to be able to just carry the entire franchise on his back if need be, like some of those guys have, by the way. Some of those guys have done it. Aaron has. Drew Brees has won. Not granted, Michael Thomas, Sean Payton's a big brain. I mean, they obviously have good supporting cast. But if you don't think a guy can win a game strictly with his arm, every game with his arm, you can't pay him. You just can't do it nowadays because it feels as if the teams who have the most success are quarterbacks who aren't getting broken off at the top amount. Tom Brady took a pay cut every single year. Now, granted, did anybody else appreciate that other than Bill Belichick? No. Every other quarterback hated it because everybody else could say, look what Tom Brady's doing. Look what Tom Brady's doing, let alone inside New England Patriots organization where they can say, this is what our quarterback's taking as opposed to this, so you should take this a little bit lower. But I do believe the quarterback payment scale is something that is going to be addressed at some point. Somebody's going to figure out how to do it because when the new CBA came out and there was more money in the salary cap, the only thing that meant was more money for the quarterbacks. That's literally all it meant, one up. So I've been pitching pretty hard for the quarterbacks to be in their own world that doesn't affect the salary cap. Let's just go ahead and let them have their own world where they can be tiered. You think he's a super elite guy, put him up here, this, and then they can make their own, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. But whenever they negotiate that deal, they know that they're immediately going to be judged on whether or not they win a Super Bowl because they just got paid $100 million. And if you don't do that, you're going to be talked about in a way that you shouldn't be talked about. And I feel like this Stephen Jones, Dak Prescott thing happening is a very interesting one because is Stephen Jones setting himself up for when they don't win a Super Bowl to say, hey, I said this before we paid him? Or is he saying, hey, I'm going to pay you still even though we know this because I think you're that good? Like, which way will Stephen Jones spin that towards Dak Prescott? TBD.
It's so hard too, because like for those quarterbacks on that list, yeah, they haven't won a Super Bowl, but for all those quarterbacks, like you had to have paid them because you've seen how bad the teams have gotten, like when those quarterbacks have been injured. Like the Steelers went from a top 5 offense to number 32 last year.
Well,
Big Ben is
well,
like,
it's also not, I mean, guy got hit in the head with his own helmet. Guy got hit in the head with his own helmet. How the hell is he not have PTSD every time he steps on the field?
He wasn't great before that either.
Whoa.
But that turkey leg looked delicious, and I know why Foxy did that. But you have to be pretty good to be eating that turkey leg after the game, even though someone had a perfect passer rating.
Thank you. Thank you. I was about to say, this is a shot by Foxy at both Roethlisberger and me. And the entire city of Indianapolis.
Yeah, he didn't think about you when he did this.
This is Foxy getting a little bit edgy. Oh,
I didn't think about you.
Yeah, is that right?
I only thought about Tony.
Is that right? Remember, I got fined immediately after that game, too. I mean, that game that game was the reason why I ultimately decided to retire.
Passer rating doesn't get you a turkey leg?
Oh, my God. Could you imagine if...
He might have, too, to be honest.
If we win that game, if we win that game, you think I'm eating a turkey leg
Guaranteed.
afterwards?
Good chance.
You think I'm eating it?
Who else is going to have it?
I had a good Thanksgiving game, by the way. They played my pizza bit. Remember?
Yep.
My favorite thing is stuffing, blah, blah, blah. I also like pizza. That has nothing to do with this, but I was also doing those interviews during the same time period after a surgery where I was,
Are we allowed to play that clip?
Flying high.
I'm not 100% sure. Are we just watching this clip forever, Foxy?
We're talking about Thanksgiving.
Foxy, we got to get to a break. When we say that the sports world is thin right now, I mean the sports world is. We'll talk about Conor McGregor calling out Gaethje. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I can't believe he did what he did.
No.
The words he used in his post about fighting another human are despicable. Mm-hmm. I am pumped that he's getting back into the fight game full time though. Once I crush this entire division, I'm going to the 170s. He said, "There's a man that's committed to fighting again. There's a man that Dana White is excited to see committed to fighting again. And there's a guy I think with Gaethje." I think he'll be able to talk him into stand and bang him with him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Uh-huh. He was even saying it, like, anybody can wrestle around. Or why don't you stand and clang and bang with me? And then he's going to go after Khabib, which was the guy that jumped over the cage and tried to fight somebody else.
I believe I saw a tweet from Khabib also with Conor on the mat. So you know what? Good for Conor, though. He's going to box. He's going to do MMA.
See what he's doing? This is what Conor McGregor's doing. Mm-hmm. He's in the middle of his yacht out there just stirring it up. Johnny Manziel almost died off a cliff.
What? Yeah. Slipped.
He slipped off a cliff.
Careful, those rocks are slippy.
Hey, and rigid.
And rigid.
Pretty sharp down at the bottom right
Cliff
too.
rocks are rigid and slippy. You need to have good footing down there. Johnny Manziel didn't do that, but he survived to live it.
Thank God.
Thank God. 14 minutes after the hour, this is the Pat McAfee Show. Why are you watching or listening? All right. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Let's do a phone call, I guess. Do we want to go to Mitchell May? Great name.
Yeah.
Mitchell May in Pennsylvania. What's up, Mitchell May?
Hey, morning, Pat. How are you?
Hey, not too shabby, man. What's up with is this your full name here? Is this a middle name? Is this a nickname, a stage name? Are you a stripper? What are we talking about here?
No, it's my full name given to my dad, who's most likely watching right now.
Shout out, Mitchell May's father.
Senior.
We like that this is is this a junior one?
Yeah.
Are you the second?
You guys related to Fanny?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
No. Well, Mitchell May's dad is not Mitchell May or Fannie Mae. I don't think it's two different Mays.
Rick May. That's my guess.
What do you want to talk about, Mitchell? That's a good guess, bro.
About how the Atlanta Falcons can go from being a bowl next year.
He had a couple moves.
Why don't you go to the
He had an
Bay, smoke some
explanation
hay.
of a couple moves for the Falcons to make it to the Super Bowl. I didn't hear them, so I can't tell you what they are.
Tough division.
That's a tough division, especially. I mean, right now is not a time to be an Atlanta Falcon. Okay. I mean, granted, you're Julio Jones. You always want to be Julio Jones if you can be Julio Jones.
Yep.
I would like to be Julio Jones if I could be Julio Jones, but I do not want to be an Atlanta Falcon right now. With old Tommy B and Gronk coming to town, Gronk allegedly terrified to jump off the platform to win the 24/7 belt, which is what he had to do, which I think we can all understand potentially you'd be scared of that. Vince McMahon did the dive in rehearsal to show Gronkowski that it was safe. That's insane. Vince McMahon, I think, is 97 years old.
Yeah.
Was he 70-something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he still, I think, lifts and works out every single day. But
Still huge.
I love the fact that Vince McMahon is still doing, like, hey, oh, you won't do it? I'll do it. Now you have to do it. That's a good move. Gronk gets 24/7 title from jumping off a thing, still has it, keeps it moving. But you do not want to be a Falcon with the Gronk 24/7 champion and Tom Brady in there. Then you all with that defense that got very good throughout the entire year with Todd Bowles. Then you're talking about the Saints bringing back Drew Brees. Will Drew Brees be able to last all 16 games? That's a real question. I'm not talking about injury prone because I don't think he's ever been injury prone, although his thumb got hurt last year. I'm talking about the strength of his arm for 16 games. He had 5-game break last year.
Gets a bit wobbly.
He does get a little bit wobbly. 2 years ago, it got a little bit wobbly at the end. Now, granted, was that something we didn't see? Drew Brees, friend of ours, obviously.
You baited me into that.
Yeah, I did.
No friend of mine.
But he's a friend of the
friend
show.
of the program, yeah.
If he doesn't have that 5-game break last year, is he still slinging it at the end of the year? These are questions that will be asked. And is that why they brought in Jameis to pay him nothing and say, hey, we might need like a little 3-game halftime or maybe a vacation like Dennis Rodman needed or MJ needed for Drew Brees in the middle of the season? But still, and then the Carolina Panthers, who knows what they're going to be? I mean, McAfee comes back after an electrifying season getting broken off. Teddy Bridgewater's up there, a whole new coaching staff. Nobody knows that. But having Tommy and Drew in the same division is just not a fun place to be, I don't think, especially if you're Matt Ryan, who is, by all accounts, a great quarterback. But, boy, you're just running into a couple buzzsaws, I think.
I think all of those teams are going to have good offenses. It's which defense plays the best. And Tampa went to number 5 or whatever last year, and the Saints have a good defense. So it's their division.
And Atlanta, by the way, has a lot of talent on the defense side of the ball. They just weren't able to put it together. But I'll tell you what, that Sphincter Stadium they got down there is very nice.
Gorgeous.
Very, very nice stadium.
Puckers up.
It does. It does.
Affordable, too.
Listen, when you need that butthole pucker, when things get tight, just go ahead and
That's what they say, widen the butthole.
All right, open the butthole up. Clear skies down here in Atlanta. 15 seconds till radio comes back. We got Darren Woodson joining us in like 12 minutes. How will we spend the time until then? Stick around, you'll find out. Yeah, might as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a reading by Zeta.
Thank you, Pat.
No problem, man.
If you're listening to the show right now, I want you to take a second and look, Don.
Don.
When was the last time you shaved your junk?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, don't lie. let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shaving
Shave your
the junk.
Baby Z.
Yeah, the boy Z.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, batting 1,000.
It means a lot. Thank you.
Well, no, it's just a statement of fact.
Okay. Talking points. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. I'm going to read from the bottom up. I always feel like...
No, don't do that.
What? I don't think that's how it works.
Don't do it.
I'm doing it. I'm
Don't,
doing it. I'm
don't
doing
do
it.
what you just said to do.
Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job.
Okay?
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com.
Okay.
This is perfect package for your perfect package.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. For a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts.
Wow.
The Shed Travel Bag, it's $39.
Under 40 bucks?
Under $40. Yeah.
Wow.
And the patented high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped boxer briefs.
Those are great.
I love them. I'm wearing them right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months.
Okay.
Make sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call some action.
No, you already did.
No, it's actually above the action, that one.
Okay.
I can show it. now we're going to call to action. It's weird how they do that above it, though.
Go ahead. Let's give it a call.
I'm going to get 20% off and free shipping for you guys.
Okay, do that.
Just go to the website,
Yeah.
manscaped.com.
Uh-huh.
Type in America.
Yeah.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com.
You're damn right.
And use code America.
Okay.
Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you.
Attaboy Z. Attaboy Z.
I went off script there. I felt good.
You know, the thing about it was there's no way in hell they're going to be happy with that read because you did it.
No.
No.
They probably set it up for a reason in the way that they, in their eyes, like what would be best. But you said, you know what? All the education you took and all the time you spent type this thing out, I'm actually going to read the complete opposite direction. And I'm pumped to hear how they feel about that.
Well, to be honest, though, sometimes they don't spell words right. They put punctuation in the wrong spots.
You're right.
And it makes me look like a bad reader.
Well,
I'm not a bad reader.
They probably went to Illinois State.
Well, birds?
Charles Barkley did not go to Illinois State, but Charles Barkley is a massive figure in the basketball world, obviously. That NBA Tonight is the greatest show potentially on television revolving around sports. He, Shaq, the Jet, Ernie are the voices almost at this point of basketball and the NBA. They're the face of the NBA. Now, granted, I understand that Adam Silver has a job doing stuff like that, but if you were to take somebody who's not on that panel of that incredible show and say, hey, this person also face of the NBA, who would you say? Mark Cuban. Okay, so Mark Cuban, Shaq, and Charles Barkley now have all come out and said basically, scrap the season. We do not need to be doing a March Madness style tournament in Vegas, Orlando. They said it's too dangerous for the players if you don't have a vaccine, the entire thing like that. So now 3 of the biggest faces in the NBA, 3 of them, to whether it's the casual fan or the NBA diehard fan, have said, let's not do it. It feels as if this March Madness thing that was potentially being tossed around in Vegas and Orlando, which seemed like a majestic concept, by the way, just an absolutely legendary concept. If we're going to get a March Madness style run with NBA talent where the stadiums are going to be empty, so the other teams are going to be sitting in there watching, I mean, it would be a cool thing. But in the stand or the sake of safety, they said that it is not a good idea. So with those 3 powerful voices saying, let's not do it, let's assume that this is not going to happen, right? I mean, if Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Mark Cuban are all saying they're probably out on this idea, let's assume this isn't going to happen, although I think it would be absolutely awesome to watch the Lakers win a title right through everybody, which I think would happen eventually.
I was thinking, like, do these guys have ulterior motives as why, like, they wouldn't want it to come back? And maybe Shaq and Chuck just don't want to come back and do the show. They're really enjoying what they're doing right now. But Mark's on the other side. Mark should want the games to come back just to make.
Mark wants. I think Mark wants to be president too.
Yeah, he does.
Which I would vote for him.
Which, by the way, I think a lot of people would, especially after watching his business acumen at Shark Tank. But he has to now make. Now think about that though. If you're running for president, every decision you make now is potentially going to get thrown in your face. Right? So in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, let's say here in like 4 months from now, we learn something that is completely off of what we currently think. All they'll say to old Mr. Cubes is, oh, you remember whenever you were pioneering for them to get back into the thing whenever this happened. Now, granted, if it goes the opposite direction, people use that against Mark too. You remember whenever you didn't want to open up America again. So it's kind of like a devil's advocate type thing. And I think he's gearing up for a presidential run, which, by the way, I think anybody who's that good at business and that accomplished and successful should be the people that are presidents of our country. I don't care which side you vote along. I just think we should vote for successful people as opposed to people who haven't had success. That's just, if they can figure out their life, there's probably a reason. Now, I'm not saying I'm too dumb to think that, but if Mark Cuban was to run for president, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, the guy that's on Shark Tank making $1 billion deals, and guy who started from Pittsburgh and went to IU, started his own company, was kind of a foresight, a visionary whenever it comes to the internet, stuff like that. Probably somebody that people will vote for. But then the people against him would be like, well, he's not a politician. He doesn't know this. Well, he's actually succeeded in real life, though. So that's kind of, I mean, what are we going for? I don't know. But every decision he makes from here on out is going to be judged for his presidential run inevitably. But it feels like Charles, Shaq, and now Mark, Shaq, and now Charles being against something, probably not going to happen.
Also, a lot of the players and the biggest
buzzkill, by the way.
The biggest named player.
Yeah.
LeBron initially said like I don't want to play in front of no fans. Like, and that's what the biggest face in the NBA right now.
I believe he said, I ain't playing in front of no fans. No, I forget his exact quote, but it was, he had to walk it back immediately afterwards because they were like, excuse me, you might be playing in front of no fans, and if you would like to continue to make money, you need to do that. And LeBron was like, hey, listen, there's a lot smarter people than me, Mick, which, by the way, 100%, that's how we feel as well. But I feel like we're getting on a right path of momentum here towards like things going, and then whenever you hear this, it's like, yeah, probably not. Reality kind of comes in and kicks you right in the balls.
Yeah, it's just bad timing for them as far as when their season is regularly scheduled to end and free agency and the draft and blah, blah, and all that.
KBO still popping off over there.
Yeah.
They still pimping home runs over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's good news, right, for the rest of the world that they're getting things to accomplish.
Yeah.
I guess, one fighter had COVID-19.
Yeah. Yep.
They got left, but they left, right? Dana still went on without it. They left. Did anybody else get it? I mean, that's something to talk about.
That's how leagues are going to have to do it. Like, if like the MLB starts and one player gets it, you can't. If you shut down the entire league, then that's just not going to work. You have to do what the MMA did.
The MLB said they tested 5,000 and some people of MLB staff, and 99.3% did not have effects from COVID-19 or something like that. But that 0.07 that did have it, now that could potentially be a problem because what we learned early about this disease or virus might not be accurate now. But I guess if you even accidentally on I guess that thing I think it's just going. It's just going. But if you're 6 feet away, that thing doesn't go any further. It's a quitter at about 5 feet. This thing will just kind of dive off. Which, by the way, we've learned a lot in these last 60 days or whatever of not being able to do anything.
Well, and they said that they want these teams to be able to play in their home stadiums if the state government allows it. So I mean, if you're playing in those bigger stadiums, I think that opens it up so you don't have to be on top of each other. But if they play in some of these spring training areas, like the KBO, they're in the dugouts together. Like if one guy in the clubhouse has it, I mean, you'd think that it could very easily spread pretty quickly.
Man, I just want them sports to come back, dude.
Yeah. So bad.
That's all I want. But I want the sports that I like to come back. I think that's what I'm learning because sports are back.
Yeah.
There's baseball every morning, and I try. I try my best, and I like what they're doing, and I like the mascot, and I appreciate it. But I just have no investment in Korean baseball. I don't know why. I feel like a terrible person. I'm proud of them. I'm excited for them, but I just don't give a damn. And I like sports. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get in the Korean base. Now, granted, am I gambling on them every single night? Absolutely. I am betting on the KBO, and I'm betting on these UFC fights that's coming out on Wednesday. I guess there's going to be a UFC fight on Wednesday, and then on Saturday again, Dana White's like, hey, I got you guys. We're at the point where we need to see humans beat the hell out of each other anyways. Let's get to it right now.
Bundesliga this weekend.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, guten Tag. Guten Tag. Where are you from? Deutschland. Yeah, we'll call it Germany. still something I don't understand. What country are you from? Deutschland. How about you? Deutschland. How about you? Deutschland. How about you? Deutschland. Well, over here, you're all going to be said from Germany. We just changed their entire country name. What's going on?
Are they going fans?
No, I would assume not.
No.
I would assume there's no fans. Germany, by the way, nicest people of a country I've ever been to. Nicest people.
Really? Are they allow peeing in streets?
I don't know about that. I have no idea if you're allowed to just pee in the streets up there, but they were the nicest to me. And
It wasn't always that way.
no, I agree. I think honestly, I think that they feel bad.
Yeah, there it is.
That's kind of what it felt like whenever they kind of like felt bad. Now the Irish on the opposite side, they did not like me. Stupid Yankee everywhere I went. And now, granted, I am, so I understand that. But boy, I thought Patrick McAfee would have made me
Carry
celebrate.
some weight. Bloodline comes from there.
Come on, pal. I know we got. I'm learning a little bit about the McAfees. I guess we got evicted from Scotland, so we got kicked out. Like me in the Monday Night Football booth. I said I'm not going to talk about it. All right, we got to get to a break. Darren Woodson joins us from the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, that was real life conversation we just
Yes,
had.
it was.
Right there.
Wow.
Did that feel good or what?
It felt good to me.
Covered some real stuff right there. I don't like that the NBA is. Are we going to a break?
We need some musica.
Oh, Jay.
Jay puts his glasses on.
Bro, he's sitting in that back corner, too. He's just falling asleep back there, hiding in the back corner because I can't see him. It's not a bad play, Jay.
Jay.
People say he doesn't talk. Why does he just sleep? What do you want? Sleepy Jay. All right. Darren Woodson from the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor joins us on the other side to talk shop. And also, what are they going to do with Dak Prescott, man? They're going to pay that guy or what? I am so sick of that conversation. But we'll talk to him about it. Maybe, you know what? We'll also talk about Darren Woodson's show. He had somebody on the show named Tyler. It was a great interview, I heard, from what I heard. All the emotions.
Yep, bring Kleenexes.
Bring Kleenexes because you're going to cry, you're going to laugh, you're going to do the whole thing. We're excited to talk to him about Darren Woodson. Why is he no longer on ESPN? What happened there? Does anybody know?
No, good question.
Gonna find out.
Going to find out. Hey, stick around. YouTube questions during the break. YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. This is The Pat McAfee Show. All right, 28. That was that massive running back from Arkansas. Who was that big guy from Arkansas that ended up with the Cowboys?
Darren
McFadden.
He was 28 too, wasn't he?
Glass bones, they used to call him.
What's that?
Glass bones.
I thought he was 5. I think AP was 28.
I don't know. When he was at Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. Every time I say 28
Oh,
on
at
Dallas.
the Cowboys. He's 20.
100% sure, yeah? Mm-hmm. Oh, so I was wrong there.
0 and 8 Cowboys.
Hey, Connor. Hey, not a bad dig right there out of the head.
Well, my brain.
No.
All right, fine.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh?
Felix Jones, also Arkansas running back, also played the Dallas Cowboys. 28.
That's
go. There it
that's
is.
what I was talking
Bingo.
about. Yeah, bingo.
Hey,
Bingo. That's what we're here for.
good pull.
Good teammate.
Every once in a while, we like to dive deep into the comment section, which is widely known as the most beautiful place on the internet for YouTube questions.
YouTube question.
Nailed it, Zeke. What do we got, pal?
Coming from Acostiga, what physical activity or sports were you contractually not allowed to do while playing the NFL?
What was that word?
Contractedly.
Okay, so contractually is what we are looking for. That's not your fault, though. That was Acoustica.
It was spelled wrong.
Yeah, it was on
what it
Acoustica,
was.
by the way. That's very interesting because they always say, like, in your contract, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. That's not necessarily how it goes. The insurance doesn't have to cover the injuries if you get hurt doing anything outside of your profession. For instance, if I was to go play hoops, it's not like the Colts would be able to find me for playing hoops. But if I was to play hoops and break my ankle, the Colts and the insurance did not have to cover me breaking my ankle playing hoops. Now, granted, I'm sure there's people that they pay hundreds and hundreds of millions to that might have different wordage in their contract. But for me, my contract always said, yeah, you can go do and be dumb however dumb you want to be, but the insurance will not cover it if it's outside of football. And they also don't have to rehab it. It's like when Ben Roethlisberger crashed his motorcycle. The Steelers, I guess, could have voided his contract, they said, and also not had to pay for the insurance. But instead, the complete opposite happened. They paid for it because they wanted their guy back. That's normally how it works out. As soon as the lockout happened, okay, I went skydiving. Immediately. I think a week after it started, I went skydiving because I didn't have the NFL's insurance anymore anyways. I was paying a gross amount of cash for this Cobra insurance. It was fucking astronomical. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to pay for this, let's at least put it to the test. I'm going to jump out of a plane 13,500 feet. One with Tim McAfee, saw my dad just roll out of a plane. That was a wild time to be alive. One with a couple of my friends. And I went up with this tiny little guy with gray hair called old Silver Fox Bastard with a great tongue. He could talk. He was whispering in my ear. And the only thing I remember is literally him telling me, like, hey, never go on a date skydiving, by the way. I was like, why is that? He was like, you want a hero like me on the back of your lady fucking saving her life? You got no chance. This is while we're flying around, right? Like we're doing the whole thing. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I wanted to go shark diving. I want to go dive with some sharks. I want to do all that. Sharks. Just because I was, what's that?
Sharks.
Yeah, sharks. I want to go swim with sharks.
Off the coast of Australia.
Nope. I was going to go do it over in San Francisco, I guess, because they got great whites.
And
over
seals.
there.
Really?
What do you wear?
Seals.
Chainmail, dude.
Well, I don't know if I wanted to go in a little cage thing or if I wanted to go out there free dive. I think free dive is where I want to go. You can go down to Bahamas where they give them a bunch of money or a bunch of food and they're drunk in the water. You know what I mean? But I wanted to do that. But that was the only time I really took advantage of that. Now, granted, I've been riding motorcycles.
Was there ever anything in that? Because I feel like that's like a very common thing with athletes. And I was like, hey, you can't ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was in my contract. I think it was just like, it might have been. It might have been.
Were you scared to skydive?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
No, not
I did it one time, check it off the bucket list. We'll never do it again.
I don't think so.
Oh, I can't wait.
It was the plane. You want to get off the plane though, because this plane is like a boom. It's just like, and I don't like flying to begin with. So you're on this tiny little fucking plane, and it's like I want to get out of here. And then you watch your father just fall. And it's like maybe I shouldn't be here. And then when you get on the ground, it's like thank God that's over. I got the entire video and everything.
Did you have a song in your head?
No. Just I enjoyed it though. Well, the fall was awesome. Dawn. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We are being joined now by a man who hosts the Darren Woodson Show, which is a podcast that's available where all podcasts are. I've heard it's an incredible show. I haven't got to listen yet. Will after this conversation. A man who's in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. Obligatory Dallas Cowboys talk with legend Darren Woodson. Yeah, boy, Darren!
Hey, man, I just got done hearing, during the break, I just got done hearing you talk about jumping out of a plane. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about skydiving there during the break a little bit. You ever done that?
No, listen, let me ask you this, Pat. How many black folks have ever jumped out of a plane? I would like to know the numbers. I bet you I can count them on one hand.
So there are some notoriously Caucasian activities. Skydiving is one of them. Shark Week is just a different group of white people jumping into the water with sharks every
Shark
30.
Week, for sure.
All white people at that particular time. Darren, what have you been up to during the quarantine, boss? The Darren Woodson show is going well. I can't wait to listen to that. What else have you been up to?
Yeah, well, of course, I'm a partner in a commercial real estate firm here in Dallas, and we we're headquartered at the Star in Frisco. So my office overlooks the practice field. I can still watch the Dallas Cowboys practice week in and week out. Nothing going on now, but for the last 3 years, last year and a half, that's what we've been officing out of. So that's for the commercial real estate side. But on the other side, man, listen, I was 14 years at ESPN. As an analyst, and you and I had just missed each other. I was leaving, you were coming in.
Yeah.
But I had done 14 years there and wanted to walk away because I felt like there was more to just doing sports and talking sports. I've always had that business side of me. And I wanted to do the Darren Woodson show, start the Darren Woodson show, because I wanted to dive in and be more passionate about the stories, about the Pat McAfee story, not just the place kicker who got drafted in the 7th round, but how did you get to the point to where you got to?
Yeah.
And why are you on the #1 show on TV now?
Thank you.
I mean, what is, how did you guys get there? What's the journey? And that's what I wanted to do when we started the Darren Woodson show, is go through the journey. I had Rich Froning on, the king of CrossFit, on just the other day, man, and he talked about that dark side. Yes.
Yeah,
he talked about when you get there, you can't feel your legs and you can't feel your arms, and he goes to this dark side of himself that pushes him through. And that's the stories you want to hear. And that's what I'm so passionate about.
What year at ESPN were you like, you know what, I kind of want to dive deeper into this type of thing? Was it there towards the end, or was it like halfway through? You're like, I'm enjoying
halfway.
Yeah, I'm enjoying
halfway,
this.
Because you know how on ESPN is, you sit there and you do a 2-minute interview, and then whoever that is Peyton Manning's gone. You do 2 minutes and he's gone. He's out. So you don't really get to know who Peyton Manning is. I know you know him, but the fans want to know who that certain particular athlete is, and we just never got deep into this. I think the best shows, and I wish you were there when I was there, because the best shows are done in the green room.
Hey, good time in the green room. Now, me and Rex Ryan used to have a blast. And Damian Woody.
Imagine Rex in the green room.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But you want to get to hear stories. That's where you hear the real, true stories of how coaches had different outlooks. Like Herm Edwards and I would be in the green room for hours, and he would just in depth talk about his philosophy and how he would approach players, and those stories. Those are the stories I want to hear, man, and that's the deep dive I want to get into.
That's awesome. That's the internet, by the way. That's the new form of conversation that people are interested. That's why podcasts have taken off. That's why YouTube's taken off. That's why the old form of media is kind of dying. I don't want to say that out loud, but I mean, it's real. Let's talk about your relationship with Jerry Jones here now. If we can backpedal a little bit. There's a guy I'd like to hear his story if you ever get him on. We can't wait to hear that. Is he a part of your commercial real estate company, or how'd you get your office in the Star facility there?
Yeah, no, he's not a part of the real estate company, but he probably wishes he had his hands in the company, that's for sure. But listen, I tell you what, one thing about Jerry's a great salesman. So Jerry owns the buildings, the building that we're in, and he and Steven basically rolled out the red carpet to get us in there. Now we're paying, there are no discounts. But I'm talking per foot, we're paying top market. Like he recruited us, come on out. You have a great time. You use our resources and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you're paying $60 a foot.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. There are no breaks now. That's the reason the man is as rich as he is. But it's been a great experience. Listen, I think the one thing about Jerry, what you always know is, you talk about a mindset. And I've been watching this mindset on, what's the show with Jordan, the Bulls?
The Last Dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Awesome.
And it's about a mindset. It's about Jordan's mindset. If you just transfer that into the corporate business world, that's Jerry Jones's mindset. Very similar to Michael Jordan's in the fact that he's going to get up, he's going to bust his ass. The people that are not going to like him, he could give a damn if you do, if you don't, but he's going to do it his way. And we see not only in the business side of things, but also in the way he runs the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he takes a lot of shots and a lot of criticisms, but the same thing, he says the same thing over and over again. It's mine. And because it's mine, I'm going to run it my way.
And he built a stadium with his own money, by the way. He built the stadium with his own money. He said, listen, I don't want any taxpayers' money because, to be honest, I don't want anybody to think that they should be able to tell me what I should do with the team. This is my team. He's had success in everything he's done, basically. So all these conversations about people like, does Jerry need to get his hands out of the team or something like that? It's like, how do you tell a guy who has literally made this franchise into the franchise it is that he is somehow a failure? I just don't know if that's accurate. And it feels like he's still putting together incredible rosters that just so happens to be missing one key piece right now, which is Dak Prescott. Do you think that deal will ever get done?
Yeah, I think a deal gets done. I do. I really do. And if you talk to the Jones family, Stephen and Charlotte Jones and even Jerry, they'll tell you how in love they are with this young man. And again, my office oversees the field. And Pat, you know this. You played with some of the greatest out there, man. Great ones come. They show up every day to work. And I've seen Dak Prescott looking out my window in June with the fifth guy, one of the special teams players who's running routes out there by himself at 2:00 in the afternoon. He'd already done his early morning workout, comes back out and throws balls. And you just see this guy, his work ethic is tremendous. his leadership skills within the locker room are, just he came in his rookie year and they called him a leader. And I just, you've seen this guy continue to grow and mature as a player, and the Jones family definitely respects it. Listen, I was there when Troy Aikman retired. We went through quarterback purgatory. We couldn't find shit, dog. I'm telling you, it was hard as hell to bring in a quarterback. The quarterbacks were terrible at that time after Troy left. And then Romo came in, years later. But we went through 4 or 5 years where we just didn't have a guy at that position. And the Joneses have been there. And that's what surprises me about this situation is they've been there before. Why not solidify it? You know who the guy is. He's your guy. He's your future. He's the one you want to build this franchise around. Why not get him done? And I think that goes for both sides. I don't think this is just a Jerry Jones family against Dak. I think Dak needs to give a little bit as well to get the contract done.
That's interesting because I have a couple questions. How many other offices can just look into the practice field? Are you the only one, or is there like
No, there's a whole there's Dr. Pepper is building a building right across. So you know how Jerry is. It's all about corporate, bro. It's all about the dollar. So there's 2 buildings that basically surround. There's 3 buildings actually that engulf the outdoor practice field. So it's not only my business, but there's, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 other businesses that can oversee the practice field.
You can't work on anything then out in that practice field because you're going to get got by the modern technology. If you're just working on something and it looks terrible, it's like, Dak was working. Yeah. This ain't it.
Belichick has an office.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Hey, by the way, if you're getting paid, you know why the Cowboys probably don't win any games? All you need is one turncoat in that damn business. Any of those businesses, the films.
Yeah. You look right down on it, man. But hey, listen, they go inside and outside.
Yeah. Of course. Why do you think? So you just said that you think Dak also has to give in a little. Because in business, by the way, you're not going to get everything you want. They're not going to get everything they want. It's a figure out how to meet in the middle. As soon as he signed that agent, I guess that is known for just getting the maximum dollar possible. I think everybody knew that it was a potential fight coming up. I don't think any of us expected it to last this long. And then they sign Andy Dalton, obviously, for $3 million. Yeah. The whole conversation starts like, why are they signing all these people other than Dak? You ultimately believe, as somebody who has been there, done that, knows Jerry, knows Dak, you think this deal is 100% getting done?
I think this deal is 100% getting done. And I think that, when you look at this, again, looking at this organization, they know who their leader is. And I get it. Andy Dalton's a very good quarterback.
Okay.
But Andy Dalton's not going to be the future of this organization. It's about Dak. And you talk to everyone, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and that offensive line, they'll tell you who the true leader is of that organization. I just think that there's going to be a point this year in the next couple of months where this deal gets done, and it's Jerry who's going to pull the trigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Woodson of the Darren Woodson Show. Incredible conversation. I'm going to listen to it on my way home. I cannot wait. You said you talked to a guy named Tyler. Who's the Tyler you talked to?
Tyler Klutz. You talking about Tyler on my podcast?
Yeah, I saw you record a promo for it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to listen to this one.
Okay, so it's 3 of us. It's Tyler Klutz, who played, former player for the Dallas Cowboys. He played a couple years with the Cowboys, played 7 years in the league. He's in the real estate firm that we all work in the same real estate firm. So it's Tyler Klutz and I. Ben Gibbs is another one who played at ACU at Abilene Christian, didn't get out into the league. Talented guy, tight end. But it's all 3 of us, man. And, what brought us together was the transition that we've all had to make to the business world. And because we had to go through this transition, and there's so many players, I know you probably had to go through it too, Pat, when your time was up and football didn't want you anymore, you had to make this transition. And 3 of us have talked every day about in that commercial real estate firm and at ESRP. We talk every day about making that transition and how hard it was and how many people helped us through that process. And that's what the Darren Woodson Show is all about, man. It's about making the transition, getting to know other people in other verticals, not just the sports world. We're interviewing people, CEOs, doctors, attorneys, and all. And that's one of the things that I needed to do. I think that's where my passion is. You can probably hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
The passion is hearing interesting stories, hearing people that have had these road bumps, have hit these road bumps, found a way to get their ass up after getting hit in the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Got back up and got going. And that's the stories that everyone wants to hear. That's the story I needed to hear.
Hey, amen. I can't wait to listen to those. You guys are owning malls down there? You own malls? Is that what you were doing?
No. We you talking about the commercial real estate side?
Oh, yeah.
No. We are what we call it a tenant rep firm. We represent, if you're looking for office space, if you're looking for industrial space,
here we go.
We represent you.
Hey, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys Ring of Honor member and Businessman podcast host Darren Woodson. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it, brother.
Oh, that was awesome. I just want to say that I think there's a potential opportunity for what's the espionage?
Yes, corporate espionage.
Corporate espionage on the Cowboys. If he can watch Dak Prescott get working in the offseason at 2:00 in the afternoon while he's representing people while they're trying to find office space, that doesn't seem like the best idea. Jerry should have a button that just blacks out all the windows.
That'd be awesome.
That would be a cool window, a cool thing to do if he did that. But I doubt he does. He's like, listen, people are going to watch your practices. You just got to figure out how to get around it. Secrecy and surprises are a big deal. But listen, we got companies that want to be here. So we got to do what we got to do, pal.
I'd be surprised if Jerry doesn't project 3D holograms of them running fake plays.
On the window?
Oh.
Each individual window has its own different play happening.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, because why wouldn't? If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, why wouldn't you open up a shell company down there and
exactly.
just? Why would you not do that? Did we just give away a potential strategy to ruin Mike McCarthy's big comeback here with the Dallas Cowboys? Is this why Jason Garrett hasn't been able to win really down there? He's like, listen, I'm clapping and smiling all I can, but the other team knows all our damn plays. You know how hard it is not to run a trick play because you got 50 companies with at least 1,000 employees watching every single practice we got? That's insanity. That's insanity.
Is that the only place that probably has that with a bunch of random buildings surrounding their practice field?
Bill Polian used to see a plane fly overhead, and if it didn't fly high enough, he thought it was a spy watching our practice. Which is, hey, look at that. Shoot him down.
Belichick.
It's Belichick. Yeah. Training camp, when it was first opened up to the fans, nightmare for every scout and everything. All they had to do was just look in the crowd for somebody who was paying attention a little bit too much or writing too many notes because they thought it was a scout from another team. I couldn't even fathom every single practice having it.
If I know McCarthy, first thing he does is he's putting cardboard up on every one of those windows.
In Inside Man, where he walks in and shoots all the cameras as soon as with that laser or whatever. He's going to walk in there. He's going to get the woodpecker from my house. I got a woodpecker in my house that's the size of Zito flying around. I don't know how the thing gets around. He shows up. He's the dumbest woodpecker on earth, and I don't know how he has survived long enough to be as big as this son of a bitch is this big. I'm being 100% serious. He is a little human. He is an infant, a toddler flying around with that big ass beak, and he broke my window in my office. Just came in, started ding, 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 smash, flies off like a victory cell. Pimps it almost. Jeez. Does like a home run thing, flies away. Then he goes and saws down some trees. Probably going to fall down, break something I'm going to have to pay for. This woodpecker is a nemesis. And if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm hiring said toddler-sized woodpecker from my property to go around and break every window that he possibly could. Because I can't see a damn thing out of the window now because old toddler-sized woodpecker ass is a dumbass. You're a woodpecker, not a glass pecker. Keep it moving, you idiot.
Classic
could
woodpecker.
You fire on that thing if need be? Are they endangered? I mean, that thing sounds like a menace. You know,
a menace. Yeah, I got to replace 3 windows at this point because his dumbass doesn't know the difference between wood and glass.
I think you're well within your rights to send a couple shells fired.
They're tough to kill. I watched a whole cartoon on someone trying to kill
Birdshot. You think Sam will let me take Birdshot out on this Woody the woodpecker?
Well, earmuffs.
That's not going to work because I'll tell you what, this son of a bitch says good morning every morning right on he's currently trying to saw down the pine right outside of our room, I think. I think this guy is literally just trying to make my life miserable.
So you basically have a rooster.
He's in like his terrible teens right now. Like, he's so large. Yeah, we do have a rooster. He doesn't cock anything. He just, you know what I mean?
Send Tim on it.
No, Tim will come in there with buckshot on that thing.
Oh, I mean,
He'll be like, I don't even need birdshot. I don't need spray. I'll get Woody right in his head there.
Breaking news.
What's that?
With some breaking news.
What is it?
Mark Cuban tweeted you.
Mark Cuban tweeted me?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
It's up to for debate. We'll see.
Oh, no. Did I ruin my relationship with Mark Cuban?
No, I don't think so.
Is he going to come on the show?
I don't know. Zeke's trying to get him.
Mavs Mark Cuban thinks risking it. The Dallas Mavericks under 77 minutes. Oh, is he coming on the show?
I put a tweet on her. He didn't reply back though.
Oh no.
Probably just didn't know who Zito was.
I don't want to look at it yet because I don't want to know that my relationship with Mark Cuban's ruined.
I think it's growing stronger.
We definitely should come on and talk about it.
Yeah, he should come on and talk about it.
He's followed me for like 4 years now, by the way, just waiting for me to accidentally say
You guys have
something.
had the same path.
Same path. Pittsburgh, Indiana. He just went on to own teams. I'm just talking
He's
into
older.
microphones.
He's older than you are.
I said I would vote for him, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think it's. Actually, I think he should come on the show.
What did he say?
FYI, I didn't say I want the season scrapped.
That's all he said?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's not bad.
Ah,
He
we're
needs,
friends.
He needs to come on and clear it up.
I did misquote him, which isn't great.
Did you?
You said you should run for president.
Hey, man.
Said you vote for
I
him.
said, yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Come on. Radio Hour 1 ends right now. So I'm not 100% sure. What happens with me and Mark Cuban now at this point?
I think you text them back.
Text him. I don't have Mark Cuban's number.
Come and talk about it, Mark.
tweet
Call
him
in.
back.
FYI, I didn't say I want the season scrapped. Would you like to call on the show? Marky boy. Mark.
Oh, Don. More Don over there.
Need you to come
Fellow
on.
Yins are here.
Need you to come on and chat about it and talk about it. Need you to come on and talk about it. All right. So maybe we have Mark Cuban on the show. Maybe we just figure out a thing we can go on Shark Tank to pitch about it. Bring this up. Bring this up while we're at Shark Tank.
Yeah.
All right,
You
start
know what I
brainstorming.
mean? That's something we could.
What do you got?
What do I got?
Yeah, you normally. I assume you have 12 ideas lined up in a
Well, I
hopper.
got a digital media company that we can potentially pitch. You know what I mean?
Not a bad
I mean, I've seen Big Cat go in there and pitch his brain there for a little bit. Great idea. Great idea. Dave Portnoy, by the way, winning the Roger Goodell Man Cave Monday Night Football giveaway is potentially the greatest move the internet has ever seen. Just absolutely brilliant, genius, and there's no way that Roger Goodell could have ever thought that this was going to happen. He was setting up the draft, he was sending the emails. Hey, if you could potentially come up with any concerns or anything like that, make sure you email us. We'll handle this. They're getting internet into everybody's houses. He's eating his M&Ms. He's figuring out what outfit he's wearing next. He's sitting in his basement calling out the draft picks. He had no idea that Portnoy was just sitting back, just hitting for good charity, for philanthropy. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And you know what? Portnoy caught Goodell sleeping, and now Goodell is going to have to figure this out. Well, everybody knows Dave has been dragged out of a Super Bowl while wearing a disguise because he wasn't allowed in. Everybody knows he's gotten arrested for going into his office. Everybody knows that Goodell knows who he is, and Goodell has to try to play the high road all the time. Now Dave is literally putting him in a pretzel. Dave has put him in a complete pretzel. And this is why Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports, and all those humans over there are valued at $450 million and counting, because this is next level thinking. And I can't wait to see what is Goodell going to do? Is he going to take the money himself and donate and say, we can't do that?
Match it?
And
Is it just those two?
I think it's just those two sitting in the man cave. And I'd assume that Goodell, by the way, because it's all in challenge, it's the NFL and it's for good cause and over $250,000 is raised, they're going to have some sort of content being created.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome.
I think old Raj probably ex-nays it, but
New Raj.
our Commissioner Raj
Our commissioner, Raj.
accepts it arms wide open.
T-shirt, khakis,
Leather
base.
jacket.
I bet you he's probably wearing the
Clown
nose
shirt.
If I know our commissioner,
It's genius.
That's the way he wins this, right?
yes.
Fucking genius, by the way, by Portnoy. Now, granted, $257,000 genius, but still will make every single dollar back on it for sure.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Would have never gotten that opportunity otherwise.
Bro, as soon as he tweeted that out that he won the auction, I mean, obviously, I didn't see it till later. I just read it, and I started actually laughing out loud while looking at my phone. Just like, of course, this is what he would do. Of course, he's Vince McMahon. He's just out thinking Roger Goodell.
What would you do if you had security guards and he just drags them out of the house?
Portnoy, up the stairs too, because he did go down those stairs. What if he how will that go down? Can't wait for it. That's going to have to be something that he's going to have to address, by the way, because the internet will not forget about this.
Is there a chance Raj cancels the season?
Strictly because of this. Think about Portnoy after that.
It just goes unrefundable.
Oh my God, what a genius! All right, I got to go to the bathroom, take a leak. Mark Cuban, by the way, did not say that he would. Oh, I'll lead off the show, the second hour with that, by the way. So anybody just heard me say a little bit of a spoiler on what I'm leading off with. You get to hear it before the radio folks do. And that's why you subscribe to youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show to hear what this dumbass has to say before the people on the radio get to hear it.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Exclusive content.
Ring the bell.
I think it's the other side, but I could be wrong.
Ring the bell.
Here it is.
Bottom left.
Ring the bell.
There
There it is. Right there.
Ring the bell. By the way, that Heisman radio, that's not what I'm pointing at, but the bell down yonder. All right, we're back in 2 minutes.
Let's get it. Let's go. Dream house is a tour bus. Scream loud that you knew us. Deep down, I'm the new plug. You ain't about to get too dust. Pete's frown when they crew scrubs. Sweet sound from the two subs. Beats loud as a move, bruh. Lead the crowd like, ooh, what? Long hair on the big body. 210s, both sitting shoddy. Crack a fit, start getting rowdy. Blowing O's, looking like an Audi. It's Uncle Sam without the taxes. Crowd stands up, I keep them loud. I made this beat, you hear it smacking? Who is 30? Hand me a nap. You probably wasn't expecting this.
God damn it!
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Tuesday, May 12th. Hour 2 kicking off. Ran a mile yesterday, by the way. Add to it right there. Get my steps in. Don't have my watch on.
How the legs feel?
Not bad, not bad. Not too shabby. Still a little bit too fat, but we'll get that done.
That was a quick comeback. I don't know how that happened.
Hey, I was mid-urine stream, and Zito opens the door and goes, "We're back," because I had my right ear out because
The echo.
yeah. That's on me, amateur. Well, anyways, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Hour 2 kicking off. We have Neal Brown, head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers, calling in, FaceTiming in here in about 4 minutes. We'll talk to him about college football in general, and also he has hired a branding coach that I never heard of to talk to the team about building their brand. He seems like he's looking out for their future. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all things happening in my old stomping grounds, Morgantown, West Virginia. I believe he lives on Cheat Lake, which is a lake that I used to stone cold beers on at a very rapid rate and jump off of bridges into.
Ooh, good time.
Those are things, by the way, that West Virginia would not have covered insurance-wise if I would have got hurt doing. But these are things that happen whenever you're in college at West Virginia. Breaking news. Shaq and Charles Barkley have come out and said that they think they should scrap the season and move on to the next one, not do the March Madness-style tournament. Mark Cuban has not come out and said scrap the season, FYI. Just want to let everybody know that. In the first hour, I said Mark Cuban, Shaq, and Charles Barkley, the three most notable voices in basketball, have come out and said scrap the season. Mark Cuban then tweeted me saying, FYI, for your information, and he didn't add in there buffoon or idiot. He just said, I didn't say I want the season scrapped. I think what Mark Cuban said is he wants it to be done safely, which, by the way, is the right answer. So for that, I apologize to Mark Cuban immensely. I enjoy his work on the Shark Tank. I appreciate that he's a Yinzer. We'll vote for him for president. And since I misquoted him and he tweeted me, I think it's only right, comes on the show and talks about it.
I agree.
Come on the show and talk about it. We got some ideas to pitch,
That's
too, by the way.
America.
I'm sure nobody does that to Mark Cuban as soon as they talk to him. Hey, I got this new shoe company, a revolutionized sport. I need $1 million. You get 3% of the thing. Here's my upside. Here's projected. Here's value. But I would love to talk to Mark Cuban because I think there's a guy who knows a lot. He's on the council, I believe, that the president put together about reopening sports into America. There's a great conversation to be had. And also, because he is on that council and committee to put sports back into America, can't be being misquoted by somebody on the internet. So I apologize for that. But Charles Barkley has come out and said that he would like the season scrapped alongside of Shaq. Did they have that conversation together and then say, yeah, it's a bunch of garbage, man, and they come out and they say they got to get rid of it? It does feel like that. Now, I assume that they, alongside Mark, feel as if it's a bit dangerous until we have an actual answer. Now, if an answer comes, will Charles Barkley and Shaq change their decision? I would assume. But it feels as if they believe that we are nowhere near being able to protect everybody from a potential getting the coronavirus, which is going to become a conversation, I think, for a lot of people moving forward as the world reopens and as sports reopen, is if there isn't a vaccine or something that completely cures or eliminates coronavirus, will things happen? Are we in that? Because I don't know much about much, but I think vaccines take a little bit. Is that going to happen, and will we be able to wait for it? The world will find out.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but also part of Shaq's reasoning was that the season really doesn't matter anyways because whoever wins it is going to have an asterisk. Do you agree with that?
No, I think the asterisk would be like, hey, there was a worldwide pandemic in the middle of this. So, yes, there would be an asterisk, but I don't think it has to be a negative asterisk. I kind of stand on Mike Greenberg's side of this whole thing. Greenberg said it would have an asterisk, basically, but this would be a great accomplishment. You're the only NBA team to ever win a March Madness-style tournament. I mean, that's like, I think it's almost like a cooler thing. It'll definitely be different than any other NBA title, and Shaq's won them, and I would never, ever want to act like I'm smarter in the whole world of basketball than Shaq or Charles Barkley. But for me, I think that is something you would look at as cool. This team, now, I think it affects free agency. Yeah. I think it affects going into next season, teams getting acclimated to their old team. I mean, it's just, that would be a very weird thing, I think, is where Shaq and Charles Barkley are potentially coming from, because the business side of it is a real thing as well, and also the health in the entire thing. But let's eliminate those real life things that are happening. Families, business, health. Let's eliminate that stuff, which is impossible to do. I think that would be a cool thing to be able to say you won the NBA's round robin or bracket tournament, basically.
And it seems like they could still expedite it. You know, I mean, it's not going to go like where the season initially was going to go. Like they could, if they did it this way, they could wrap it up pretty quickly, couldn't they?
I think so. And they said it doesn't have to be a best of 7 series, but they did say they could do a best of 7 because of everybody will be in the place. There won't be travel. They'll all be staying in the same area. It'll be like old school AAU tournaments that all the guys played in as kids and growing up in high school and everything like that as a fan. And this is also if we eliminate the health concerns, which obviously you can't do, but if let's just pop into a world where you eliminate the health concerns and the business concerns and the future of other players and teams. Let's eliminate that. I think it would be electric to watch.
Yeah, Silver said he still wants 7-game series, and that could move faster with no travel playing Orlando or Vegas. So it might be there's no days off potentially.
So I think Adam Silver and Mark Cuban. By the way, Mark Cuban say I didn't say I want to scrap the season is good news for our thoughts of that season happening. Because I think if it was Mark, Shaq, and Charles, I think we have limited chance of this actually happening. Mark though sits on that board, and Mark's an owner, obviously. Talks to Adam Silver probably on a much more regular basis than anybody else. He didn't say he wants to scrap it. It feels as if they potentially want to keep that moving, which is good news for us. I mean, that's good news for the fans. Now, have to do it in the proper fashion, which I think Adam Silver and Mark Cuban both believe in. And will they be able to accomplish that? Not 100% sure.
For the draft, I mean, usually it's in July. For those players that are coming out of college, do you think they should be able to, join the team even if they resume the season in, say, August or September?
No, they join the team next season. I don't think anybody new to the team. I think you're with your old team. Old team, but the team you started with, right? And that would be the problem for free agency, right? Wouldn't that would kind of infringe on free agency, move into your next team. You're playing with your old team while trying to prepare for your new team. That would be the weird thing of it, but we're in weird times. We're in very, very weird times.
Yeah, on the opposite side then, would a lot of people who are freshmen in college who committed to the draft, are they going to return to college basketball?
No, because who knows what's going to happen with that.
With college sports, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody has a clue.
Where it gets interesting is like Kevin Durant, they said he's not going to play, but had he gotten healed and felt better, the Nets are automatically a great team and potentially a contender.
Especially in a tournament style where KD and Kyrie just got to get hot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Kyrie too. He was out for the season, and now if they bring it back, both of them should be healthy.
Well, and Clay Steph and Clay could have been back.
Think about the numbers for this tournament if it was to happen. Just think it would be massive. If they ran this thing like The Last Dance and had games at night, just 5, 6 nights in a row, 7 nights in a row. Oh my God. It would have to be like a 2-week, 3-week run. It would be electric.
Especially after missing March Madness, we get this tournament too.
Shout out to Mark Cuban, by the way, for not saying that he was Let's pivot back to college football. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineer football squad, Neal Brown.
Yeah, Neal!
No, other way.
What's happening, guys?
We need you to move the other way a little bit. It's our fault, not yours. Yep. Bingo. Nailed it. Nailed it. Coach, how are you over there in Morgantown, trying to spend time during the quarantine, trying to connect with your players and still move on as normal as possible, I assume?
Yes, I think that our team, probably about like everybody else, is about hit their quarantine peak here. But it's we're in sunny Morgantown today. Hey, I feel for you guys, man. Like how do you do it? How do you do a show every day when they're on like this is taking all the creativity you got, man. By the way, I enjoy the show. I listen to you guys.
Oh, Neal, I appreciate that. And then that means that if you do listen and watch the show, you've known that for the last, 40 days, we have talked about absolute garbage. And it's a tough thing every morning to wake up and be like, okay, there's nothing to talk about. What are we going to do? And then you just get in here, you spew stupidity, and you just keep it moving. And that's just kind of what we've been doing. You know, you can't do that. I can.
Hey, I enjoyed the jump shot deal the other day. That was quality. Hey, I caught myself as a 40-year-old man on my basketball goal outside at my house. My kids go inside, and I'm actually taking shots. And I'm about 15 shots in. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm 40 years old. What am I doing? What am I doing?
The Last Dance. Have you been watching The Last Dance? I think everybody's getting the basketball fever right now.
You know what? Here's what it's been for me is it's been really cool because I was in high school during those. I was in high school, like the 96, 97, 98. That was my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. So it's not just Mike, who everybody loved Mike, but it's the music they're playing. The flashbacks. It's been must-watch TV for me.
How do you try to instill that type of attitude and mentality into a player? Is it something they either got or they don't have? I'd assume this is a big coaching moment for you. Watching literally the most competitive human, getting a chance to see him behind the scenes, the way he interacts with his teammates, the expectations of himself, that Space Jam gym that he had built just so he can go to work. How do you use that as a coaching point? I would assume you have to at this point.
You know, we did. We've been doing Zoom team meetings, so our Zoom team meeting that we had yesterday, we started off with a clip from The Last Dance, and it was the one about there's a price. And I thought that was so profound. You know, simple. You could tell it was off the cuff, but you could tell, and he really heartfelt that there's a price to winning, there's a price to leadership, and you do have to pay that price. And we used that with our team yesterday. And the thing that I talked to our team about is there is a price to leadership. And to me, there's always this internal battle with leaders in general between popularity and being respected. You know, and everybody wants to be liked. I mean, that's just natural. If people say, I don't care what people think, I don't necessarily buy that, okay? I think that everybody has this inherent, they want to be liked. But as a leader, it's more important to be respected. And it's a fine line. And so we talked about that with our team. And then here's the thing, like on any team, and you've played on teams, you've got alphas. Everybody's not an alpha. And I think that sometimes you got to realize that you're not an alpha. And what I really brought home to our team, because we got a lot more Steve Kerr's, Bill Winnington's, Luke Longley's. We got a lot more of those than Michael Jordan's. You know what I mean? Right? We got some good players, but we got a lot more guys that need to be great followers. And that's the thing that, because everybody can't relate to Michael Jordan, but everybody can relate to that role player. And that's the thing that really stuck out to me is there's a price for leadership, but there's also a price for fellowship. And that's something that doesn't get talked about a bunch. And that's what I really challenged our guys with is, hey, we got to be great followers. We've got some alphas. We got some great leadership on this team. Let's follow those guys that are setting the standard.
Being able to buy into a role is a massive part of team success. I mean, that is a huge part. It's like, hey, I understand what my role is, and everybody do your job. I mean, it's Belichick's thing. It's Belichick's entire model is do your job, and that's about buying into your role. For your leaders, do you have like a leadership council? Because a lot of things have changed now since I was in college, right? Leaders were in the locker room, and there was not a lot of give and take between Rich Rod and the team. It was like, hey, this is what we're doing. You either like it or you don't, and we would meet amongst each other. Now I'm talking to teams that have like leadership councils that meet with the coach, and then there's these Thursday meetings that happen. How do you kind of differentiate and stay in touch with your leaders of your team while also maintaining the role of a head coach and not wanting to overstep your boundaries in the locker room?
Yeah, so here's what we're doing right now is we've got our team divided into 10 accountability teams. And so there's a captain and there's a vice captain of these accountability teams. So these accountability teams are really sub teams within our team. Okay, so we have 10 captains, and what we do is those are guys that are proven leaders that have proven themselves. And I think when you talk about leaders, you talk about your best players, your hardest workers, or your best character guys. All right, and then you have some veterans that are mixed in there as well. But then we have these vice captains. These are kind of leaders in training, guys that we think are talented, guys that we think have leadership skills. Maybe they've had a little bit of success on the field, but we think they're going to be really good. So that's what we're doing right now is really training those captains, and we're trying to grow from a coach-led team to a player-led team. It's a process. But normally what we do is we take those accountability teams and we take them to the summer, and then we have each position group, all right, and each grade level. There's 5 classes. You basically have a freshman, a redshirt freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And we have a representative from each position room and a representative from each class that's on this leadership council. And I think here's the thing. Here's the reason why. I agree. Like when you were playing or when I was playing, it was more of a dictatorship.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about it, the guys are so much more educated now. And players in college football have a louder voice. And I don't think I'm fine with it. That's why we try to stay in front of this NIL deal as well. I mean, players have a voice, and you can't ignore that voice. So you got to give it to them. And that's what we're trying to do within our team as far as with these accountability teams and with the leadership council piece.
Accountability buddies. It's a good move. I respect that move. And I also like what you've done. You've done a great job of trying to not only incorporate the team with the state of West Virginia, but the community of the team and the culture of the team. And I think you working with that branding guy is just another beautiful example of that. The NIL deal, name, image, likeness, which is coming to fruition from the NCAA. A lot of coaches are kind of torn on this entire thing. You got the coaches who have big boosters and big donors and big corporations around them that love it because they know they'll be able to do autograph signings. They know that they'll be able to potentially offer up things. And you're taking the model of, hey, yeah, we do have some companies that'll probably get involved in this entire thing. But if you build up your own brand, you'll be able to make money yourself, which people do a lot of on the internet. And I think this is a smart move by you.
Well, here's what I think about the NLI is I think it's inevitable. And I think you can either embrace it or you can challenge it. And we've chosen to take the player side and embrace it. And the way I look at it is you're going to have the stars, okay, that, the Pat Whites when you were playing or the Will Greer a couple years ago or whoever the star is. The stars on your men's basketball team and your football team, they're going to get opportunities to make money, right? But where the opportunity is for our players is to build your brand to use post-athletic career. That's my thought on it. And I think what we're going to try to do is try to train these guys. And Jeremy Darlow, he's the guy. He brought Adidas to the mainstream with the hip-hop and all that kind of stuff. And so he's got a course. And he's going to train our guys how to use the platform they have. And their platform may be to be an influence on social media. It may be to go back to their hometown and be able to use their name, image, and likeness back in their hometown. And so just being creative and trying to stay in front of it and helping these guys for when they get done with playing.
I thought there was always should be a life major for college athletes, right? Like I took communications. I mean, I guess I'm using it now, but I didn't graduate. I had teammates that were in degrees that they were never going to ever make any money off of. I thought there should be a life major where it's like, hey, here's your taxes here. Here's how you make money. This, what you're doing to them in hiring this branding thing is a life lesson, especially in the world that we live in now, because the amount of money you can make, it's the new gold rush is the internet. So I think this is a very good idea by you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at what you've done. I mean, to use you as an example, it's like you've taken your brand and you spread it on social media. And now you have multiple media platforms that you're able to, and you're just one example. And I'm not just blowing smoke because it's your show, but I'm just saying you're a great example of that. And here's what we're trying to do is we call it a fifth quarter program. We got 5 pillars that we've really designed to help prepare our guys for life after football. And I think is we talk about we have a mission in our program. And it's to serve and develop, and there's 3 phases. There's an academic piece, there's a manhood piece, and there's a championship piece. And that manhood piece is the 5th quarter. And we're trying to prepare them to be everything they need to be in life outside of football. And you got to do it, man. And I just think that I fell in love with this game because I love football. I love athletics. I'm talking about shooting basketball. I'm the PE teacher here at my home school, so we're gonna have some softball work here during lunch. I love sports, and sports have given me every opportunity in my life, and I think it's really important. And I started coaching because I wanted to be around young people, and I love the game of football, and I wanted to give back. But the more I'm in it, I really think it's just a platform to help develop people for what's next.
Yeah, you take boys and make them men. I mean, it's a massive growing time, not only physically, but mentally for everybody. And it feels like you really cherish that. I mean, you had a lot of success at Troy. You come to West Virginia. Now you're in the Big 12, right? The Big 12 talked about how tough it is, how demanding it is, especially for West Virginia, who has to travel 4 hours every single game, it feels like. I don't know if the Big 12 was the right move. Probably the ACC would have been smarter, but that was both after my time, before your time there. But adjusting to life in the Big 12, what has it been like getting to West Virginia now, trying to build your team your way, which, by the way, sounds like a very sound way of building teams, by the way, is from within and kind of build that thing up. What have you found as your transition here to West Virginia as the head coach and the Big 12 in general?
Yeah, well, the Big 12 is a challenging league, and the thing that's different about the Big 12 is there's so much parity in our league. That's what's really difficult. As far as West Virginia, we got a great product. Tradition speaks for itself. One of the winningest programs in all of college football. The thing that's unique to us, and you know this from playing here, is that there's no other Power 5 school. There's no NFL. There's no NBA. Our kids get treated like professional athletes here legally. And I mean that legally, but we are the biggest show in this state. And our guys get to perform on a huge stage, and that makes us unique. There's very, very few setups like that in all of college athletics.
Have you loved Morgantown, West Virginia? What was your first whenever you showed up in Morgantown's a different place now. Morgantown is a great time, got good people, but it's a very different place. Whenever you showed up in Morgantown, what were your first thoughts?
You know, I'd been through here, but I never actually spent a whole lot of time. So the first thoughts are, for the positive, is I'm a big time. I like college towns. That's where I want to be a part of.
Oh yeah.
I like the college town atmosphere. And then a couple of the negatives, or not the negatives, but I mean it's hilly here. I would call them mountains, but it's pretty hilly.
Hey, that's why I had to get a scooter. I got a remote control scooter, had a remote start and everything, because you're either walking like this or you're walking like that at any given moment.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And my driving skills had to get way better, okay? Because the roads are narrow and there's a few potholes here. So, like, I'm improved. I'm a much better driver here than I was in Alabama.
Coach, your first year at Troy, you guys were 4-8, and then you never won less than 10 games the rest of the time there. Then you were 5-7 last year. Like, when you're coming into a program and you're trying to turn it around, what's the biggest thing? Is it X's and O's? Is it culture? Is it getting your guys in? Is it getting the community to accept the team? Like, what is it?
No, the biggest thing to me is culture. It's buy-in. That's what you're trying to get guys to invest. And you talk about in football, you're getting all these personalities, all these egos. You're trying to get them pointing in the same direction, and so the culture is the toughest thing, and it takes some time. And that's the hardest thing to me is getting buy-in, and that's kind of where we're heading. This is our mission for next fall is to be the most improved team in the country. That's what we're trying to attack. But it's a challenge. We had a good run at Troy. Troy's a great place. Doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but it's a great place. I coached there for 9 years, or eight and a half years, excuse me, 4 as a head coach and 4 as an assistant. And the last 3 years that we had there, 16, 17, 18, was a phenomenal run.
Where are you from originally, Coach?
I'm from Kentucky. Yep, I grew up in Bardstown, Kentucky, which is the bourbon capital of the world. Lived there till I was about 13. My dad's a high school principal, and he took a job in Danville, Kentucky, and that's where I finished. Went to high school, and man, I'm proud of where I'm from. Great people there in Central Kentucky, and very fortunate in that regard.
What's the best distillery down there?
Best distillery, yeah. Listen, here's the deal. I'm hunting branding opportunities like our players, but I ain't picking one.
Smart.
I ain't picking one.
That's very smart. You've been watching that guy's course through the entire thing.
That's exactly right.
Hey, you have flipped the facilities and everything in there in a beautiful fashion. Jamal Adai, who everybody has respected that's come through West Virginia. There was a Zoom call that I was a part of a couple weeks ago, which is a very smart move, by the way, hiring Jamal and trying to get the OGs back into the facility. But they laid out what the facility is going to look like here in like a year, I guess. You guys are going to work over there in Morgantown to make WVU a legit squad all of a sudden.
one of the few good things about this pandemic break that we're on is we've got a major construction going on at our facility.
Hey, they're doing it in our building too, Neal. Believe it or not, they're hammering right above us every single day. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, so that's been a good thing. They've been able to get ahead of schedule during this construction because we're not in it. There's nobody in there, so they've got full reign of the facility. So we're actually getting ahead on that. But yeah, we got a $56 million renovation going to the Pushkar Center, and when it's done, like we'll have a locker room, players' lounge. Those things are going to be done in July, and then in April the whole things will be done. It'll be state of the art. It'll be as good as anywhere in college football.
Yeah, it looked beautiful from the pictures I saw. I can't wait to get back and watch a game. What is the team going to look like next year? What type of squad are you building, not only through this quarantine, but through this culture process that you've been here for the last 2 years? I would assume that you're antsy to have a lot of success there, as are the Mountaineer fans. What is the team going to look like next year, and what is a Neal Brown squad? What are the traits of the squad?
Yeah, well, if you can get any college football coach right now, since last team activity we had was March 12th. So I see our team on Zoom, man. So I hope they're doing what we need to be done, and I think if we're about the right things, we will be. But the good thing about it is everybody's going through the same thing. It's not like there's been any competitive imbalance. I mean, everybody's doing the same thing. Our goal is to be the most improved team. I thought we played really good football in the month of November last year. We won 2 of our last 3, and against 2 Kansas State and TCU quality football. We're a really young team, one of the youngest teams in the country last year. We returned almost our entire production offensively, and then we've got some of our top playmakers back on defense. And so there's some key things we got to do. We got to be able to run the football better. That's number one. We can't throw as many interceptions. Defensively, we got to be better in the red zone, and then we got to be more consistent special teams wise. Okay, and for us, I think this is a big year for us. I think we're capable of having a major improvement. I'm looking forward to it. Here's what I want us to be at West Virginia. I want us to be a team that doesn't beat ourselves. That's what we want to line up. And we want to be a group that plays fast, plays hard, plays physical, and doesn't beat ourselves. And to me, that's about details. That's about details, and that's what we're developing. And we want to build our goal here is to build a program that competes for championships in November. That doesn't mean we're going to win. That's the goal. We want to win one every time. But if you're competing in November for championships, you're going to get a chance to win your share.
Well, I can't wait to watch you get the boys back to the top there. Can't wait to see it happen this November. And I can't wait to see the team that you have coming out of these Zoom meetings. I think everybody's going to learn a lot about their players coming out of these Zooms. I don't know what I would have looked like if I had this in college, to be 100% honest. But I'm pumped to see what the Mountaineers put on the field. And I thank you for joining us, boss.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. My feelings were getting hurt, man. I see all these college football coaches getting on here, and then West Virginia wasn't getting any love, man. I told Monty, I was like, we got to get Pat. We got to get on the show, man.
Listen, Neal, I want to let you know, I do not do the bookings, but whenever Monty called me and said that you were coming on the show, I was very excited about it. I've been getting texts from a lot of other people, too, who are not happy that I've had him on the show, and I would like to let people know I do not handle that, haven't handled that. I will start handling it moving forward because Neal Brown needs to be on the show. I appreciate you. Good luck to your squad.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, enjoy watching you guys. Enjoy listening to you guys. Keep up the good work.
How's your jumper, by the way? You said at 40 you were shooting in the – how was it? Pretty good?
Hey, listen, I can stroke it still. I'm a set shot guy, but I can fill it up. It's but here's the deal. I'm at an age where I'm really worried about my Achilles, so I'm not playing any pickup.
Smart.
I'm a jump shot guy now.
Yeah, 3-point line to 3-point line. By the way, that's all you got to do. Just play zone defense and then just put up shots and don't really create too much havoc. Just stand still. That's a good move.
Hey, and here's what I do is I'm a horse guy, and I go straight to the free throw line. All the guys come over to my house, and I'm taking them straight out by the free throw line because nobody shoots free throws anymore.
Fundamentals. Hey, fundamentals. You learn a lot about people there whenever you go straight to the free throw line. I appreciate you, Coach. I can't wait to get back and hang out and watch your team. I'm excited to watch them grow.
Hey, you're welcome anytime. Anytime, man. We get you back and you can lead Country Roads.
Hey. Ooh. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Okay, now, Coach, you probably don't know this, and I hope your players don't, but does every bar rock that at midnight still?
That's a good question.
You probably should know that.
I'm going to assume yes. But hey, listen, you don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer.
That's a good call. I mean, the last thing you need is your kicker to be telling you, oh, yeah, well, at this bar at midnight. That's not a great answer. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Neal Brown. Appreciate it. All right, we got to get to a break on radio. Good guy.
Good
Awesome.
guy.
West Virginia.
Hey, man.
Take the over and wins.
I do feel good about you. They have a young team, which is kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the Zoom quarantine. Mm-hmm. But if they're the right young team that you piece together, you hope that they're handling themselves accordingly and not just playing Madden and showing up late to their classes like our intern, like our college guy Emmett, who's not here right now, taking a final in Greek and Latin. Dude's got no shot today.
No shot.
No, and yesterday I blew right through his Emmett's minutes. He's had a tough 48 hours. He'll bounce back tomorrow. Big thanks to Coach Neal Brown for joining us. I can't wait to get back to Morgantown and watch a game with him. Good news, sweet though, you know.
Oh yeah.
Or a sideline pass. Sideline, we're cool.
If you're leading the
Depends on the
song,
weather.
you're going to be on the sideline.
The sideline's nice down there.
Yeah.
Whenever we were playing, those sidelines became like, I don't know, like 50, 60 people deep at one point. I was just getting bullied too because I'm just a kicker or whatever. I got some guy who probably donated or something just bullying me out of the way. It's like, don't worry about it, pal. I'm about to go miss a kick if you can get, because nobody blames that guy, by the way. Anybody blame the guy that got in my way of warming up? I've been getting these death threats. You should think about the old white that didn't let me get warmed up on the side.
If we get silent passes, could we get pads too and pretend we're on the team?
Yeah, I think we get you pads. By the way, I'm not 100% sure everybody will be able to get sideline passes. I believe they've cut those down quite a bit from what I've been told.
The box guy.
We got to get to it, buddy. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Has Mark Cuban answered? Does anybody know if Mark Cuban has answered?
Might have some intel.
Really?
Well, do you want that video tweeted directly at him as well?
Yeah. Do that. Let's put it at him. Me correcting my mistake, FYI.
Yeah.
Smart.
Don't do an FYI. Don't make it sound like we have attitude.
That's out.
Oh, no, you've already put it out.
I didn't say FYI.
What'd you say?
So correction, Mark Cuban does not want the season scrapped. I apologize immensely.
Good idea. Future president.
Nice.
All the clips that get put out during the show come from Nick Morado because I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always intriguing to see how he puts the video. Is Gumpy on right now? Gumpy! Gump!
What's up, Paul?
Bro, I pissed off Mark Cuban. How you doing up there in Canada?
Good.
What are you up to? You working out, getting skinny up there? You still locked down in Canada? I saw somebody in Alberta, Canada, getting dragged out of the middle of town, basically by the police who had their little masks on. And he said, do you want us to remove you forcefully or do you want to remove yourself? And the guy goes, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. And then gets fucking dragged out of town square. Is that what it's like up in Canada right now?
Alberta can be the wild, wild west out there. It's all country in Calgary and Alberta.
Do we have that video? That video is next. Zito's trying to find it. This guy's sitting there. There's a bunch of people protesting behind, and then he's just sitting there, and he's got 3 Mounties. Is that what they're called, or cops? What do you guys call your cops? Mounties, right?
Yeah, there's both. Mounties are in the red.
Oh, these guys were in black. They might have been park advisors.
Oh, it might be RCMP. You don't want to mess with them.
No, you don't, because 3 of them had masks on and dragged this dude out of town, and you started hearing people scream, "This is Canada, not China," in the background. It's insane up there.
It's wild.
What is it like where you're at? You're on the far left coast, right, of Canada? Right
Yeah,
now?
we're like on the beach. We're just chill. Nobody really cares. It's pretty nice here right now. It's starting to heat up a bit finally.
You guys got a mask policy up there?
No, not really actually. Our BC, British Columbia, has been like the best out of all the provinces in Canada for not getting coronavirus. Our numbers are super low.
Oh, man, it's so interesting because I don't know the mask policy here in America. I see people in Pennsylvania getting bodied for not wearing them by cops. And then out here in Indiana, you don't see a single human wearing a mask anywhere. And then I assume California, you got them. And then up in Canada up there, that person's getting dragged out of a park. You got the video?
I think so. Is it 3 guys wearing
Yeah, here it is. This is it. Look at this. This is Alberta, Canada. This dude's just getting dragged out.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's my shoe. Sorry.
Sorry. Look at this, just walked. Is that the guy that got dragged out right there?
So, yeah, it's like from the news.
Oh my God! Yeah, he got dragged out there, Gumpy. Hey, we're pulling for you. You think there's any chance of you getting to America within the next 4 years?
I'm hoping so. We got Bundesliga starting this weekend. Things are looking up, pal.
Who are we betting on? You're a big soccer guy.
Dortmund.
We got a parlay with Dortmund and RB Leipzig, and then if you're looking for value on one game, Wolfsburg plus 120 against Augsburg.
All in.
Wolfsburg plus 120.
I can't wait.
Oxford. All right, Gumpy, we're getting back to radio. I appreciate you, and we miss you, buddy.
Miss you too, boys. Have a good one.
Attaboy, Gumpy! Oxford.
Can't wait to make so much money.
Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg's
Good team this year.
Oh, yeah.
Dortmund, you're doing a parlay with them and RB team, Leipzig.
Dortmund and Leipzig.
Okay, and then Wolford plus 120 against Oxford.
Wolfsburg, yeah.
Go ahead, just do a side bet, put Dortmund, put all the money on it.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
he's a part of the parlay, yeah.
Side bet.
Oh, you want side bet. A little side action.
Yes.
Side from the parlay.
Dortmund don't lose.
Let's go to Justin up there in Ontario, Canada. Canada is a madhouse right now. You got Canadians saying sorry and then getting dragged out of parks. How's it going, Justin?
Hey, pal, feeling good. Got my Raycon headphones in my ears using code PAT15. We're rocking this morning, pal. How you doing?
Excellent. Even better now that you're experiencing how great the Raycon E25 earbuds are in Canada, which is a place that's in total mayhem, it feels like. Sorry about it. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Actually wanted to talk to you about the Mountain fighting Eddie Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Some crazy stuff's going on with that whole situation. Supposedly September 2021 is the tentative date. The World Boxing Super Series just used EA Sports Fight Night Champion Simulator. The Mountain dominated in it and won in the 6th round. What is your take? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, the Mountain just lifted, 1,106 pounds or something like that?
Yep.
And this Eddie Hall guy is also, I would assume, a very powerful person.
The Mountain, I believe, if I'm correct, beat him by one. He did one more pound than that dude did.
Oh, so this is like an actual beef between
There
these
is quite
two.
a size height disadvantage, though.
Yeah.
The Mountain much taller,
Yes.
I would assume, than Eddie Hall. The Mountain has gotten in there and scrapped with Conor McGregor, right?
Yep.
Conor McGregor has beaten up on the guts a little bit and then kind of got his hands on him, then backed away. But the Mountain didn't flinch to anything that Conor was hitting him with. And Conor was using him as a heavy bag, basically, while they were fighting through that whole thing. Will you be able – you know these videos that have been circulating on the internet, these slap contests? Have you seen these
Dude, they're
things?
awesome.
Yeah.
There's that big son of a bitch that just ruins that guy who has that tattoo on his face. I feel like that's what these two will be. I think they'll get gassed out probably after one round, but I think in that first round, they will be hammering each other, and I am here all the way for that.
Why are they pushing it to September 2021?
Well, I assume they want to try to at least get on a treadmill. I would assume that they're trying their best not to just die out. There has to be some sort of conditioning, some sort of training at some point. And for me, if you're training for boxing, and we were a part of a train, by the way, the Beast, Eddie Hall, who's at 32 years of age, 6'2", 225 stones, is taking on Thor, who's 31 years of age, 6'7", 330 stone. His net worth is 1.6 million euro, which is like 2 million American, I believe. And Eddie Hall, who I've never heard of before, this is worth 4 million. How did Thor, the Mountain, not get paid more for Game of Thrones?
Never
You
spoke.
talk a lot.
He's new on the scene. That was like his big break. This Eddie guy's been doing this for a long time, apparently.
Oh, so who wants it more then? Does Eddie Hall want to
question.
remain at the top of the mountain, or is the Thor hungry because he hasn't been paid diddly squat for
I will
anything
say
he's done?
Thor eats a lot more calories every day.
He does.
How do you know that? Was that up there?
That was one of the stats. I don't know why.
So the amount of calories consumed per day, Thor 17,000 calories.
He hungry.
The Beast 10,000, and somehow the Beast at 6'2", 25 stone has an 8-pack. So let's assume that they're both eating all the steroids you could potentially eat. I am here for this fight. I am also here for Mike Tyson taking on Tyson Fury's dad. Yes. I don't know if that's happening, but every video that comes out of Tyson hammering on bags and on that human trainer of his who's just asking to get broken ribs, he's just as explosive as he was back in the day. Now, granted, I wasn't alive during the Mike Tyson era. I didn't get a chance. I've been through the rabbit hole of Mike Tyson. We used Buster Douglas as a metaphor at one point for some sort of something. Don't let Buster Douglas show up and beat you. Don't play down to your competition. And Mike Tyson looks scary at the age of 53. And Tyson Fury's dad cut a promo saying he's a king of a champion. He respects Mike Tyson, but he'll fight anybody. And I'm not sure that's the right move, because I think Mike Tyson, oh my God, is throwing refrigerators around at this point and could still kill you with boom, one shot from Mike Tyson.
I believe he recently said too that he's had like a reawakening, almost like he
took DMT.
He's like, yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
he's like getting his competitive spirit back and his ego's starting to come back. I think he's ready to knock someone's block off.
And I would assume he's not having any financial issues, right?
I don't.
No, he did
doubt
something
it.
with HBO too.
Well, that's smoked out or smoke something with Mike Tyson. Incredible show on YouTube. I enjoy watching it. There's been a couple clips wherever he talks about having to hold back. He's scared of the person coming back that he was, like a killer, basically. Now it seems as if he's training to potentially become that guy again. Will he be able to maintain the incredible personality that he's become, the incredible interview that he's become, to become this killer again? I think we'll have to find out.
He made $685 million in career earnings, so I hope he's not having financial issues.
No, but I believe he had after that. I think there was an issue.
He went bankrupt there.
Yeah, I think so. Don King did not do him any favors either, by the way.
He stole all his money.
Yeah, so I think his comeback afterwards with the movies and this podcast and YouTube and other stuff, other appearances, I think he has made a lot of money coming back, which, by the way, he had quite a fall from grace very quickly. It included some terrible crimes. And then he's bounced back on the other side of it, admitted guilt and done that whole thing. I've liked watching Mike Tyson kind of come back to being Mike Tyson. If he goes in there and fights with Tyson Fury's dad, I would pay $100 to watch it. Just $100. They should do it as just like Floyd Mayweather does. They should rent out the arena. They should sell the tickets in a pay-per-view themselves, and they should just make big business out of it. The Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has offered him up $10 million. They don't have $10 million. They're just banking on him making at least $10 million for him. If I'm Mike Tyson, I'm doing what Floyd Mayweather does, and I'm either lining up doofuses to walk in there and get their heads knocked off. Tyson Fury's dad. That's what I'm doing if I'm Mike Tyson. If I want to get back, I would pay to watch Mike Tyson beat the living dog out of somebody.
If I'm Mike, forget Tyson's dad. Go for Tyson. Fury.
Gypsy King. You want him to go against the Gypsy King?
I do.
You want Mike Tyson. Okay, so we're
For
going to get
my
attacked.
enjoyment.
I just want to let you know, we're going to get attacked because I'm going to agree with you. We are going to get attacked by the boxing people. And this is, by the way, if we were still on DAZN at the moment, we would be getting lot of heat for saying this because we don't know much about boxing. But if Tyson Fury and Mike Tyson were to fight each other, how much would you pay to watch it? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, Tyson Fury was a little bit more calm, I think, in his trash talk before the last fight with Deontay Wilder. He was kind of a little bit more relaxed because he was so confident going in. If he fights Mike Tyson, the buzz around that. Now, granted, I would assume that Mike Tyson is on some sort of maybe testosterone replacement or whatever it is. They would have to figure that out. I want to see Mike Tyson and Tyson Fury's dad first. If he knocks out his dad, then Tyson Fury has to be like, all right, for me, Dad. No.
You killed me, father.
Yeah, for me, Dad. Oh, what was that?
You killed me, father.
We got to get to another break for radio. Jay, do you have something to say? What are you doing? Are you itching your
No,
ankle?
so basically Don's speaker's so loud, he has to like manually lower it down. So there you go. Yeah. So now
There it is. That's our voice of God in our ear. Good guy, Don. Every once in a while, he doesn't turn his microphone off, and we hear everything he does. He enjoys chips.
Yeah. Doritos in the morning.
He enjoys chips.
Doritos for breakfast, really.
He has a very great voice. I mean, one of the best voices of all time.
yeah.
But he does just echo into our ears when he doesn't turn the microphone off. So it's tough to get a full sentence out while you hear this delicious voice in your ear. But Don's our guy. Always has been our guy. Hasn't taken a day off throughout this entire pandemic where people in his profession have been and have not, Don has been working his ass off. We appreciate him. But every once in a while, the Doritos at 9 a.m.
I was going to say, he's got the fuel every morning, Doritos and ice cold Mountain Dew, getting him through the day.
By the way, never once has he had stale Doritos.
No.
They are the crispiest Doritos every single time he bites into that thing.
Jealous of him, actually.
Me too. We don't get those types of Doritos over here. Well, yeah, we got the. His are. Sounds like Stone Cold Steve Austin's glass break with him. All right, we're done with it. 42 minutes after the hour. We got to go to a break on radio. We'll do some YouTube questions during the break. This is Mr. AJ Hawk sitting on a throne of cigars and lighters. He's got Evan Foxy's legs, Connor's upper body, and his face while taking a grumpy. Up here, you have my commissioner, a photo of commissioner, and then McAfee and Hawk as well. Great piece of artwork that came from a WVU student who I don't remember his name right now, but he deserves. His name's Nick, I think. Nathan.
Nathan sounds right.
You did not see the email.
Take me home
to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. With a techno beat in the back, we're off. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Dumbest show of all time. We are the dumbest show of all time. The same exact day that Mark Cuban fact checks us, we sing Country Roads to West Virginia's football coaches out in the middle of nowhere. What's that?
Yeah. We sing it 2 times today.
Tuesday, May 12th, though. Tuesday, May 12th. Never, ever forget. Never. The driest day in sports history. Mm-hmm. And you're a sports show host. What do? Well, you get a buffoon back on the phones to dress up like an old white lady who happens to have a mustache. Hey, Pat. Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh? Let's go to Vince in North Carolina. Have we gotten a call from North Carolina before?
I think
Rally
so.
before
Charlotte.
Vince, North Carolina, what's going on, bub?
Pat, what's going on, man?
Just hanging out, dude. What are you up to, bro?
Hey, terrific Tuesday to you and the boys. Been a long time fan.
Hey, Vince, we appreciate that. Terrific Tuesday to you as well, pal.
Oh, I lost it. Oh, shit. You there?
Yeah. Are you all right? Is everything okay over there, Vince?
Dude, I'm doing great. Terrific Tuesday. Beautiful weather out here. I wanted to say Viva Lazito, watch your clearance. Been a long time listener.
Thank you, sir.
But my question originally was nothing to do with anything of any import. I wanted to say that I have the utmost love and appreciation for you guys. Pat, you give a great perspective for fans like me that don't know the game but kind of know the game. As a punter, you got to sit back and watch that and take all that in as a third-string quarterback.
Thank you.
Greatest punter of the decade.
Thank you.
And I just appreciate the hell out of you guys and this show.
North Carolina, come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Twist it around your head like a helicopter. Hey, Vince, we appreciate you, bub. Thank you, man. That was very nice of Vince.
Nice guy.
Big Vince.
That was of import.
By the way, he fell down the Appalachian Mountains there in the middle of that conversation. I'm happy Vince survived there.
Good mountains, by the way.
Do we have any YouTube questions, Zito?
Yeah, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Grant Duncan basically said, with the evolution of run-pass option in NFL recently, if Tim Tebow were in this year's draft class, What pick is he in? Is he a year one NFL starter?
If I'm the general manager, Tim Tebow's the number one pick, by the way, just because of what he's going to do in the locker room. Everybody knows that I'm a big Tim Tebow guy. But let's not focus on Tim Tebow. Let's focus on Pat White. If Pat White from West Virginia was to come out in the modern era, and now people say his 40 was slow or whatever, well, he was told to put on weight because they didn't think his durability was high enough to be a quarterback in the NFL, which, by the way, he ended up getting killed by Ike Taylor on the sideline. If Pat White was to come out right now, he'd be the number one overall pick by far. Dude used to be able to sling the ball all over it, was so fast, and played the option perfectly. I think that's the person who kind of lost out on the air and not catching up. Tim Tebow, though, if I'm general manager, I'm taking him number one no matter what offense we're taking, strictly because I want Tim Tebow in the locker room giving speeches to everybody, letting them know what's right, what's wrong, and where we're headed.
You got God.
Well said.
I mean, Pat White was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Pat White was fucking unbelievable to watch.
Probably throw a little better, too.
Well, Lamar Jackson, I think, is a little bit quicker than Pat White, right?
How tall was he?
Pat White's 6'1", maybe 6'2".
Really?
Yeah, he's taller than me, I think. Same size, if not taller. So he's 6'1.5", probably.
What was his playing weight?
I don't know. He was told to beef up, though, so his 40 was slower than what everybody thought. Like, when he ran his 40, I think we were all like, oh, I did not expect that to be his 40, but he was told to get bigger so he could be more of a pocket passer.
At the combine, he measured in at 6 foot 197.
Yeah. He's like 185, I think, though.
He ran a 4.55.
Yeah, I think he would have been like 4.4, 4.3 if he had to. He was unbelievable to watch.
Lamar was a 4.3.
Yeah, he was unfucking believable to watch.
You think De'Ara King, the transfer from Houston who broke Tebow's record of most consecutive games with throwing and rushing touchdowns, do you think he'll be a top
I got
10?
to call his last game,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, his last one.
Yeah.
Where he broke the record.
At Houston. I got to call his last game at Houston. Now, granted, where did he transfer to?
Miami.
University of?
Yes.
I would assume that he's going to have a lot of people looking at him. Everybody is going to – it's a copycat league. The NFL is a copycat league. Everybody is going to be trying to look to find the next Lamar Jackson. De'Ara King seems to be the guy who's potentially next. He could sling the rock, too.
Yeah.
There's a guy. Now, is anybody going to be Lamar Jackson? That is quite a task. I mean, that dude is – he's an alien. That's all I said last year was this dude is an alien because there's not going to be another Lamar Jackson. Will there be somebody maybe close to Lamar Jackson? Possibly. But the way he runs, he doesn't take massive hits, but he's still rugged and gritty. He's just a different player. And I don't think anybody could have expected him to be the player that he was. But what everybody was saying last year and what everybody will say until it happens, and if it doesn't happen, thank God, he's one massive hit away from potentially being out. And that's obviously the risk you take whenever you're a quarterback is a massive part of the rush game, which it has to be. But on the upside, if you're quarterback, they have to defend every single player. Every blade of grass needs to be defended whenever you got a Lamar Jackson. De'Ara King, potentially next guy. But I think Pat White missed the timing of Pat White was just a different animal. And I might be, biased, obviously, because I got to ride his coattails to some very cool situations and parties. Great time in college. Great time because of Pat White, Steve, Owen, Darius Renaud. I could go through the entire Reed Williams, academic All-American. People forget. Kid from Moorfield runs a chicken farm now at this time. Absolute stud, redhead on the field. Used to fly around, buzzsaw out there. You see little flames flying out of the back of his helmet.
I'm watching highlights of Pat White. This is insane.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I don't think the world really knew that currently until somebody put out a poll of who the best five was. And Reggie Bush was up there. Pat White was up there. There was Patrick Mahomes was up there. All these college, who's the best five in college or whatever. And Pat White was trending or something. And a lot of people were like, y'all motherfuckers forget what Pat White was like. And then his highlights started coming out. And everybody was like, yeah, that dude, I was very lucky to get to watch that on an everyday basis. Let alone he used to smack folks too, like blocking was. He used to be great leader too. Great leader. Pat White missed the boat. Now he's a coach, by the way, USF. Look for him to be a head coach relatively soon. Great leader. Called him chief because his dad was a fire chief, but also because great leadership. Yeah. And they called me chief for different reasons.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're coming back off the radio. We got about a minute and a half. What a show. What a fucking show, man.
Oh, YouTube question. I was playing. I couldn't even hear it.
Are we back on radio? Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Got a boy Don. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, lightning rod of a soccer player who came over, took over Los Angeles in the MLS and then went back. He said, it's nice to see The Last Dance. Now you see how it is to play with a winner. Either you like it or not. If not, then don't play the game. I respect it.
Zlatan's a leader.
A lot of people who have that MJ mentality, by the way, are watching that thing saying, you know what? A lot like me, just haven't won 6 championships yet. Diggs just broke his kneecap on the table. That's the loud sound you just heard. Or it's the 15 people on our ceiling, on our roof, banging away because for some reason this is the time to do all the construction revolving around our studio, which I understand. It's smart. Get the job done. West Virginia coach Neal Brown said that's what they're doing for their facilities right now. Good move. But it's not necessarily convenient for us.
What do you see? A couple mock-ups of the West Virginia?
They're putting a Hall of Fame in there. It's going the whole thing. Because you start seeing these programs, and now I'm not going to say that they do these things so they can say they're a nonprofit, but they build up these incredible facilities for recruiting and for everything like that. And once you see some of these other places, you're like, damn. And then West Virginia is like, all right, we got to catch up. Almost $60 million he said they're putting into that thing. It's going to be beautiful in Morgantown, West Virginia.
You said guys like players on the team typically never use that, right? It's
ever
used solely for recruiting.
Solely to get you there.
Yep.
And then whenever you're there, the only time you're in a facility, you're just working your ass off. It's like, all right, I want to go home. It's like, well, we got a barbershop. We'll use that.
Mm-hmm.
But this players' lounge, I got a living room, too. I could just go lay in right now.
Very much so.
But they're nice. Cold tubs, hot tubs, the entire treatment facility, that's a big deal. People use that. But everything else is all a bunch.
What about the younger kids, like freshmen, sophomores, who don't, like if they're in the dorms or something like that?
Well, they're normally watching film, right? So they're either watching film, working out, and they're not allowed to be in a building for certain times. So it's like,
you're right.
It's a very interesting thing to get good recruits. You got to show that you're invested in the program. Speaking of invested in the program, 1 o'clock, McAfee and Honk. This has been Tuesday, May 12th, Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana!